It's a busy weekend for the United Arab Emirates with the UAE National Day on Monday, Formula One in town, and of course, the final of the 2024 season of the Champions of the Future Academy programme. Here in the picturesque city of Abu Dhabi, plays host to that sixth and final round of the championship and the third instalment of the Middle East phase of the Academy programme. And it joins just a few kilometres away from Yas Island, where of course the finale of the F1 Championship will be taking place. Myself, Anthony Jordan, in the commentary box, ready ahead of what is going to be an absolutely enthralling last couple of days of the championship. And it all happens here at the birthplace of where it all started, the Forsan International Sports Resort Racetrack. Year of opening 2010, event record set in time qualifying just a few moments ago, 55.178. That was done by Daniel Kelleher, the Irishman, in his first appearance in the seniors and his second appearance in the championship as well. A look at the track though, 165 metres down the start-finish straight, 80 metres down the back straight in towards turns number 10. The whole track length though, 1,200 metres. It's 8 metres wide. It's got 5 metres of elevation, means it's very, very challenging. But turns out there, well, count them. There are so many, 17 in total, 11 to the right, 6 to the left. And that does include those 3 hairpins out there as well. Each one of those corners provides a brilliant overtaking opportunity. We see them in towards turn 1, we see them through 3, up into 4, the hairpin at turn 7, down the hill in towards turn 8, turn 10, off the banking, 12 and 17. They're all hot spots for overtaking manoeuvres. However, you've got to be absolutely on it to get those overtakes done. Top speed, drivers reaching 110 kilometers an hour around the fastest part of the circuit, averaging around 72 in the senior category, meaning it is a very challenging, demanding, fast circuit that these drivers will have to negotiate over the next couple of days. Qualifying heats are coming up, 2 per category, of course, starting with junior, mini, then senior for their first round of qualifying heats. And of course, there's a driver's title at stake at the end of this weekend. But there you can see OKN Junior qualifying heat 1. That is what's coming up next. And in time qualifying, a very, very close session. However, the man from Thailand, Toby Gale, there you see him on your screen, on pole position. A brilliant result for him. Nice smile underneath that helmet, I'm sure, as he gets himself lined up ready for this one. But we did catch up with him after time qualifying. Here's what he had to say.
Setup correct, but you know, we've worked hard as a team and it's paying off.
Well, there we go. Hopefully we'll come back to that one very soon. There, though, on your screen, is the man starting alongside James Anagnostiidis, the Australian, who at this moment is the championship leader. Right, I think we are ready. I think we can go back. Here's what Toby Gale had to say. Well, here we are then in the sunshine at the Forsan International Sports Resort Kart Circuit. Time qualifying on day 1 here for the Champions of the Future Academy program. The final round, Toby Gale, you're on pole position. Congratulations. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, feeling really good. It's a really physical track out there and it's been really hard to get this setup correct. But, you know, we've worked hard as a team and it's paying off.
Let's talk about this championship. Of course, it's very close at the moment. It's been a tight one. It's been a tough one. You've done brilliant work over this season. How's it going to be to finally end it here?
It's going to be a bit relaxing. You know, it's been a long year. It's been a hard year so for us. And I think we just want to finish it off in a high, and hopefully we can do that.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about the track. It's quite a demanding circuit. There's tight corners, there's fast corners as well. How's it feeling compared to last time we were here?
Compared to last time, there's more runoff than there was before. The track is really, really grippy. You know, every single session, more and more rubber is lying down. So yeah, you almost have to adapt to it, really. But it seems that we're adapting to it well, so that's good.
Well, hopefully it all goes well in those races as well. Congratulations, and we'll see you out there on the front row.
Thank you.
Great to catch up there with Toby Gale, and of course he will be starting that one on the front row as engines have fired up. Drivers have headed out onto the circuit. Let's quickly fire through that full starting lineup, and it's Toby Gale and James Ignatiadis on row number 1. Leonidas Bruzzi and William Marshall go from row 2. They'll have Nathan Kappin and Egon Prodotti on row 3. Row number 4 sees Arjen Singh and Ella Hakkinen on row 4. It's pretty good qualifying for Ella Hakkinen over the course of this weekend. Didier Ismov and Matthias Witwer go from row number 5. Mitash Jain and Nicholas Stanley go from row 6. They'll have Maxim Bobajov and Vanessa Shilkaneta on row number 7. Connor Clartsey and Axel Nocom on row 8. They'll have Oscar Gallin and Zachariah Dole on row 9. Angelina Simmons and Victoria Farfus round out row number 10 and the top 20. Kasper Reipold and Emilia Vishamirska go from row 11. They'll have Jan Michaleshko and Veer Chopra on row 12. Anna Pazzuto and Xavier Dukowski on row 13. Sanjana Dandu and Karine Kaur round out row number 14. Marcel Capella and Kesa Ziza go from row 15 and the top 30. The last 2 rows rounding up the 34 kart grid, Didier Kreeft and Jacob Woods from Veruland and Sujana Dandu. Well, they're getting themselves primed and ready on these formation laps. Air temperature still pretty warm out there, as there you can see Gwen LeGroux from the Mercedes-AMG F1 Team Driver Development Program is here watching alongside, and he'll be keeping a very close eye on a couple of his drivers. One of them out there is starting on the front row of the grid. James Ignatiadis recently signed with the Mercedes program at the back end of last year at this very circuit, where he had great results in the junior category. In fact, he came where he had some good results. 3rd place in the first final. Took the final win in the second last time out. As wow, there is, I believe, our pole sitter for the minis standing on the gantries there. Smiles all around, which is good to see. Well, drivers heading to that start-finish line. This is the moment, the tense moment for the drivers. Let's see what happens then as we head in towards turn number 1. It is green flag and racing. Good start from the front row then as they all make their way in towards turn number 1. It's climbs uphill here over turn 2. It's very common. They all run out wide there. There's so much runoff available to them. They're just not allowed to gain an advantage if that happens. And unfortunately, a couple of drivers having a little bit of trouble there. And unfortunately, they have found themselves out of this race. Marshall's quickly on the scene. But let's see what happens here. So Gale leads the way then from Ignatiadis. Puduzzi from Marshall. And there you can see it's the number 41 and the 49, unfortunately. That's Xavier Dukowski and Karine Kaur. Unfortunately, not going any further in this first race. And that's not the way you want to start this final round of the season here in Forsan. Well, the rest of the field then making their way into that final sector in through the likes of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 back onto the start-finish straights. A tight and twisty chicane there over that back section, and let's have a look at how they line up at the end of that one. The top 3 haven't changed. Gale and Ignatiadis and Bruzzi still 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Nathan Kappin got himself up into P4. Arjen Singh up 2 places as well into that top 5. Marshall from Prodotti. Witwer up 2 places as well from Ella Hakkinen, who's still holding strong in P9. Vanessa Shilkaneta, 4 places gained for the young Lithuanian female. She's got herself up inside that top 10. Mitash Jain up into 11th place, has held on to that one nicely as the drivers make their way again through that infield sector. Through the banking here, so easy to carry so much speed through that corner. Can really get a good drive of this one as Gale and Ignatiadis, well, they are breaking away with each other here. Just watch them through this tight, twisty section here, because, again, it's all about track positioning. It's so single file, but you can get those overtakes done as Marshall tries to send it down the inside of Arjen Singh. That's not going to work out, and Marshall holding on to that one, gets up to P5. Puduzzi as well as switched places. Nathan Kappin has got up now into 3rd place. 2 places gain. Yeah, there is Kappin. He is hunting down the 2 drivers in front. We'll keep a very close eye on that one. Dust getting kicked up on the exit of parts of the track there as Didier Ismov now sets the fastest lap of the race, 56.857. He's currently running around in P15 at the moment. He's dropped down in the order, so he's fighting back in this one. Right, now you're starting to see a little bit of a trend here. You've got the 2 at the front of Gale and Ignatiadis. They're clear from Kappin. They've got about a 5/10 of a lead ahead of that one as Sujana Dandu sees an investigation flag. Kappin there in 3rd place. Then you've got Puduzzi, Marshall, Singh, Prodotti, Witwer, Hakkinen in that group with Shilkaneta. They are closing in ahead as Matej Vitra and Aryan Singh, I think, are battling away with each other pretty nicely there in the background. But eyes are going to focus on this one here. Gale and Anagnostiidis. Let's just see what they're going to plan on doing in this one. We've not seen a challenge from Anagnostiidis just yet. And that can be understandable at this early stage of the weekend. He is the championship leader. He doesn't want to risk anything. He doesn't want to risk a silly move. He doesn't want to risk causing himself to drop back in this race. Of course, he needs to make sure he does score good points. At the moment, before drop scores, and there's the move down the inside. That is nicely done. That's through turn 12. It's one of those prize overtaking opportunities. You carry the speed through turn 9, you carry it through 10 and 11, and you can just squeeze it down the inside of the hairpin there at turn 12. And the Australian now leads the way here at Forsan. And he's going to start pushing his way nicely here as the rest of the drivers watch on. It's Joanna Pascal just on the gantry, watching alongside from the rest of the field. But keeping a close eye on this one. But as he said in the fastest lap of the race, as we're going into yellow flags here, so someone's had a spot of bother out on track. We'll try and find out who that possibly could be. I've had no update on my screen just yet, but someone's not come through the lap. But we'll find out who that is in a few moments' time as we're on lap 5 of 9. As we keep a close eye on this one. Anagnostiidis, Gale and Kappen still there. 1, 2, 3. Can confirm those drivers who are out. Marcel Capella, Vera Jurland, unfortunately. They have had drama out on circuit. We now brings our retirements to 4 drivers, down to just 30 remain in this race. As we keep a close eye on these top runners. Who's some of the big movers in the background here? Well, Sujana Dandu is one of them. 9 places gained as well. As soon as I turn my attention away, there's a change at the front as back to the lead. Toby Gale reclaims it, and that brings Kappen even closer now. It's a 3-car battle for the lead here. Gale, Anagnostiidis and Kappen, 1, 2, 3. Keep an eye on the drivers in the background, though, as they are going to be able to close in here. Marshall leads that second group. Peruzzi's there as well. Pedrotti, Schilkaneta there as well. Vitva also in that battle as they come into that final sector now through the twisty section. You've got to be so careful with track limits here. Again, the track is so undulating as once more, Anagnostiidis takes to the front. Down the inside at turn number 16. Retakes the lead of this one. Looking very strong now is Anagnostiidis, so he's not fully out of the woods of trying to not put any risk out on circuit. He's still wanting to control this race. But Gale still looking quick here, and with their fighting, Kappen is just waiting there in third place to pick up any pieces that might come his way. Well, race time very slowly running out there. You can see one of the couple of the stranded karts then. Looks like they came together at the hairpin at turn number 8. Through the hill, into the flat-out banking here through turn 9 and 10. Into 11. Really fast part of the circuit here. That's where they can carry the most speed in the senior categories, pushing 110 kilometers an hour. Into that final twisty sector. Anagnostiidis is your current race leader. From that front row, qualified second. Holding on to this pace here, lap 8 of 9. Last lap board will be coming out this time around for these 3 drivers. Just a case of what is going to be happening here. Anagnostiidis looking like he's started to open up a little bit of a gap here now from Gale. Gale, of course, having to think about defending as well as attacking. Vitva goes for the fastest lap of that race. That matters more in the final for that one later on. That fastest lap gains you an extra championship point, and across this weekend, those championship points are going to be very, very important. And, well, Conor Clancy's second in the championship, unfortunately, is not having the race here. Clancy currently in 12th place of this race right now, and of course they do get drop scores, but Clancy's first round of the championship is where 2 of his lowest scoring points came around, so he's got many opportunities to drop points here. Final lap board is out then. Drivers on this last lap as, well, it looks like they've simmered down at the front here. Anagnostiidis has controlled this race perfectly. now sets the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. So again, just showcasing that he was pacing himself in that early stage. He's found the rhythm now, and he's pushing his way forward. Gale, as well, has done a brilliant job. He's stuck with Anagnosianis. He's not allowed the Australian to break away. So keep a close eye on this one. Kappen as well. Really strong race. Those 2 places gained. The driver from the UAE certainly looking like a contender this weekend. But into the final couple of corners we go then. It's going to go the way of the Australian. The championship leader is starting his final weekend well here in Abu Dhabi. James Anagnosiadis takes that first win ahead of Toby Gale. Nathan Kappen finishing in 3rd place ahead of William Marshall. Leonidas Peruzzi finishing in P5. A strong start then for the top 5. Prodotti from Vitva. Shilkaneta with a really good race on that one. 6 places gained, finishing inside the top 10 in P8. Nabari and Singh and Nicholas Stanley, who round out the top 10. Well, these drivers will make their way back. You saw there very briefly the intermediate classifications ahead of these 2 races. Anagnosiadis now with the 50 intermediate classification points. If he can take another win, that's 25 series points that he can add to his tally. That'll push him through very nicely. Anagnosiadis last time out at a lane, a perfect scoring weekend. He's looking for another one here. And the Mercedes-backed driver certainly in a really, really strong spot here. There's a look at your provisional results, of course, at the end of that first qualifying heat for the OKN Junior category, the top 10. We've gone over. Ella Hakkinen of Monaco goes 11th from Connor Clancy. Maxim Bobajov from Denis Izamov and Axel Nocom rounding out the top 15. 16th place sees Oscar Gallen from Zachariah Dole, Angelina Simmons from Veer Chopra, Raipol from Aziza, Farfus from Krift, Dandu from Vishaminska, Jane Pazzuto, Woods, Sanjana Dandu and Jan Mikhailesko rounding out the next runners. The retirements, of course, Marcel Capella and Vera Yuland, the latest, and Xavier Dudkowski and Karine Kaur, the only retirements there, though. James Anagnosiadis, perfect start to what could be a very, very important weekend for him. The championship leader in the juniors getting ever closer to that title. Well, we look forward to seeing what the juniors can do later on. Let's have a look at the highlights from that first one, though. The start, initially, very strong for Gale on that inside line. Anagnosiadis, nothing he could do. Unfortunately, he could not get to that inside line. The first start of that race, though, 2 drivers out, Xavier Dudkowski and Karine Kaur at the bottom of the hill. As they came in, there you can just see the contact. And unfortunately, for those 2 drivers out of this one, I think Karine Kaur just in the wrong place at the wrong time there. Driver spun in front and just know where to go. And yeah, that's a big upset there for both of them, but no fault of their own on that one, so big shame. Eyes at the start of that race, and well, Anagnosiadis had to fight back hard in that one. Marshall as well going for the moves in the early stages, as we kept an eye on the rest as well. Vanessa Shilkaneta had a really good start in that race, started to make those positions up thick and fast throughout the course of that race. There you can see, though, the moves happening thick and fast all the way throughout the field. That was Marcel Capella, who unfortunately would later retire from the race, I think caught in an incident with Vera Yuland. But the race lead here, constantly changing between the top 2. Anagnosiadis taking that win, though, starting his weekend strong ahead of Gale. Nathan Kappen, who rounds out that top 3. The junior's in a really good position here, but for Anagnosiadis, he just needs to keep his head down now. Focus into that next qualifying heat and final coming up later today. Right, we turn our attention on to the Mini 60 category. They are next out on track ahead of their first qualifying heat. And again, in this one, a really strong change of pace on this one. Albert Tam finding himself back on a front row since Valencia at the start of this year's season. But still a very strong contender in the Mini 60 category. Albert Tam second in the championship fight behind Priam Bruneau. And the championship leader in this one, after time qualifying, finds himself a little further down in the order. But we caught up with Albert Tam ahead of time qualifying. Here's what he had to say. Well, Tuesday's qualifying sessions for the Champions of the Future Academy program is done for Mini 60. And Albert Tam, for the second time this season, you found yourself on the top spot for today's racing. Congratulations. How's the track feeling for you out there? It's pretty warm here today.
Yeah, it was okay. Definitely was better than the practice sessions. In the practice, we were kind of stuck, not really, didn't really have a lot of pace, but now just was driving way better and yeah, pushing harder, and it came.
Yeah. Do you know what you changed between practice and qualifying? Are you aware of any changes that you made?
Probably just driving wise, like just pushing a bit more, and yeah.
Yeah. This is obviously a big weekend for many drivers. Of course, championship is still relatively close, but Bruno leads it by quite some way. What's the plan for today to really close that gap?
Yeah, I think today the only chance to close the gap is probably to win everything. There's no other chance of closing the gap if we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, start putting it on pole position certainly helps you out in that one. So congratulations. Well done. We'll see you on that front row.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to catch up there with Albert Tam. Like you say, starting this one on pole position, the first time we've seen him on that top spot since Valencia right at the start. But another driver who delivered a very strong result in time qualifying is that young man there from Italy, Nicolo Perico. A brilliant qualifying for him in the under-10s. Here's what he had to say. Nicolo Perico, congratulations. Fastest of the mini under-10s here for round 6 of the Champions of the Future Academy program here at the Forsan circuit. Tell us, how are you feeling after that session? It's pretty warm, but you looked really confident out there.
Yeah, I'm really confident of the Kart, and thank you for the pole. Thank you for my mechanic. I was doing the perfect lap, but then one guy stopped me, and then I need to stop. So nothing to do. Now concentrate for the heat, and thank you.
Do you think if that stoppage didn't happen, that you could have got pole position?
No.
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 But do you feel like the pace is there that when it comes to the races, you could get the lead?
Yeah, maybe we can win and focus for the race now.
Excellent. Well, it looks like it's going to be a close one. Congratulations. Well done. We'll see you out there in those qualifying heats.
Thank you.
Very good to chat to Nicolo Perico ahead of that one. Like you say, starting this one on the front row. But he will be on the outside of row number 1, but in a really prime position. There's a look at what is going to be coming up for the rest of the day. We're currently going into the second race of qualifying Heat 1s for the drivers, Mini 60 coming up next, and then, of course, OKN Senior after that. There'll be around a half an hour break or so until we head for the second round of qualifying heats, starting with Junior, Mini, and then Senior. And then later on at 3 o'clock, that is when those all-important finals start for the first day of racing, and again in the same order, Junior, Mini and Senior coming out later on today. But there you can see the drivers just in a state of readiness, getting themselves sorted on there. Vicente Capella of Portugal getting himself focused, ready for this one. Of course, for a lot of these drivers, they've had a busy racing year, not only in the academy, but in other, of course, forms of racing as well. As you can see, the cleanup operation just underway after that race. Great work from the marshalling team here to get that one sorted out. But, of course, all the drivers here being very busy. And a brilliant, brilliant venue this is. Of course, the Champions of the Future Academy program all started at the Forsan International Sports Resort karting circuit. It was end of last year, end of 2023, at around November time, and it was very, very warm then as well. We were raced into the night as well. The floodlights here at the Forsan circuit. This time around, our racing should all remain within the daylight, which is a shame for us because night racing is always fantastic and it always looks brilliant. But these drivers will have to deal with those hot temperatures out there, and like you say, it's pushing around 27 degrees out there at the moment, so they are going to have to make sure they stay hydrated. It's a very dry heat that these drivers are having to deal with as well, but let's see what happens over the course of these next few races for the Mini 60 category. It's a tough circuit, this one. It's a long circuit as well, 1,200 meters for the Minis, undulating as well. Like you say, it's got that 5 meters of elevation change here at the Forsan International Kart Circuit. So it makes it an ultimate venue to go racing for the final round of the season. Engines fire up, drivers make their way out. I think there's a bit of trouble there with some karts starting up. You can see drivers switching lanes. There's actually a handful of karts there that haven't got going at the start of that one. Well, let's see who's made it out onto the circuit. Let's see who's struck out of luck on that pre-grid. It's Albert Tam and Nicolò Perico on row number 1. Vicente Capella and Ava Lawrence go from row number 2. Lorenzo Zucchetto and Enzo Stambag round out row number 3. They'll have Francesco Legaznoli and Achilles Peruzzi on row number 4. Nikita Jalilov and Benjamin Karajkovic go from row 5. They'll have Atika Mir and Matis Brajo on row 6. Augustine Felagoni and Daniela Verba go from row 7. Koda Singh and Maddox Mason go from row 8. They'll have Oscar Singh and Marc-Martin Lumetz on row number 9. Priyan Bruno, championship leader, finds himself on that 10th row in P19 after time qualifying. He will have Giovanni Dazzani Jr. alongside Ari Kallenberg and Aaron Mason on row 11 from Davide Di Filippo, Sebastian Kurz from Theodore Constantinou, Jan Gozielik from Lena Salamanca, Roland Ventner and Dayud Zanfari and Suleiman Mucho will go from the 15th row. 30 drivers in this race. Well, let's remind ourselves again of those championship points. It is Priyan Bruno leads the way. After drop scores, he's got 556. Albert Tam currently with his drop scores is 441. So there is more than 100 points between them. However, it's 152 points up for grabs over the course of a weekend. Theoretically, the gap is still there. However, Priyan Bruno finds himself qualifying down in P19th. He needs to make sure he pushes his way through this order to make sure he can push and get the results he needs. There is our race director, Martin Bean, on the gantry, getting ready to start this race. He's found himself a nice bit of shade there, which is very lucky. It is pretty warm out there in the United Arab Emirates sunshine. But here the drivers making their way round the final sector now. And they'll get themselves lined up ready. It's a long old lap for this one. The red line comes in where they're not allowed to overtake in between turns 15 and 16. And from that point, no overtaking is permitted. So they will be under those yellow flag conditions after that one. They head into that final sector now. This is where it all starts to get a little bit important for them. A title fight at grabs here. Second starts on pole position. First in the championship starts in 19th place. But don't be too disheartened, because that man in P19, Priyan Bruno, in a lane after he qualified badly, managed to make his way through the field. Are we going this time? I don't think we are. I think they're going to send them round again on this one. Or if we are racing, I'm not too sure. Now, it does say a red flag on my screen here. And it says that it's not gone. So we'll have to see what happens here. They look like they're racing at the moment. But no, OK. Now, that's a false start flag I just saw there. Yes, you might be thinking, but Anthony, that was a green flag. There was a hint of yellow on it. So that was a green flag with a yellow chevron in it. And that in the UK is a false start flag. So, again, being introduced here. So we'll try and get an update on this one. So it is a false start. And, of course, it is showing red flag on the graphics there. But I wouldn't be too worried about that one. I think that might be just a little bit of a glitch in the timing there. And, of course, timekeeping will be working very hard on that one. We are not red flag at the moment. We are still going for a new formation lap. Well, let's see what happens here. It looked like it was going to be a false start anyway. The inside row was a little bit more on the pace there from the outside row. Very tricky to start here. You know, you've got this really tight corner. The front wants to go. They want to get the power down, but they just can't until they can. Here we go. We're racing. We're under green conditions, and it's a strong run down the inside there. Oh, but there's Kart's off at turn number 1. And they're all getting going again. The 848 was one of them going backwards a little bit there, but back into this one. That was Giovanni Desani Jr. One of them involved, the rest still in a position. We are green and racing. They are going, and Albert Tam has held on to his lead. Perico still there in P3. There you can see, looking to the inside, is Vicente Capella, the driver who did start on 3rd position. Driver from Portugal still looking strong here as they make their way through turn number 9. Backfield there, you can see them pushing through that top section. Again, you want to get that slipstream in the early stages. You don't want to be left on your own in the Mini 60 category. This is where it starts to get risky for the drivers. Into that final sector they go now, and still a very strong start then for Tam, Perico, Capella. Still 1, 2, 3. Ava Lawrence finds herself just dropping backwards a little bit. A brilliant time qualifying for Ava Lawrence in the treble 8. A really strong performance in that early stage. She's dropped down to P5. Achilles Peruzzi's got up into P4 in this one. Peruzzi with a really strong start to this one is up 4 places. As you can see, everyone just pushing through nicely. Now, update on your man who started P19, championship leader. 10 places gained in that first lap alone as a change for the lead. Albert Tam now under pressure. He's lost out to Perico. Perico at the end of time qualifying, when we caught up with him, he said that the pace was there. He said he could go faster. But right now, he's delivering from that promise, and he is breaking away nicely from Albert Tam.
840, jump start.
Right. Oh, dear. Very interesting. That was 840. Nicolo Perico being called for a jump start. Now that is very interesting. Well, he leads the way currently, and he's got a nice healthy gap of 0.5 of a second, but Perico has been called out there for a jump start. So the Italian, the pole sitter for the Mini under 10, second overall in time qualifying, now is going to find himself in a little bit of bother at the end of this one. Mathis Brageau, fastest driver out on circuit, currently in P9. Albert Tam and Capella still 2nd and 3rd. There they are on your screen. They're right behind Perico. Now, what's going to go towards Perico here? Is he going to get shown anything? Here's the start of that race. And it's just a case of when he went. And it has to wait until the lights go out there. And the question is he ahead at that point? And race control saying that, yes, he was ahead before those lights went out. So a very interesting scenario that Perico's found himself in here. And we'll keep a very close eye on this one as this race progresses. Tam and Capella still there. Oh, very wide there for Albert Tam. They have been told, they've been briefed on track limits over the course of this weekend. Qualifying was kind of open game. As long as you don't completely miss out half the circuit, you'll be fine. In these races, of course, they're not allowed to gain a lasting advantage from going off track limits. So if they do, they'll find themselves, if they don't give it back immediately, find themselves going to the stewards after this one. But so far, all these drivers adhering to that one. Down into the hairpin, downhill in towards turn number 8. They climb slightly back uphill now into the bowl section. This is the banking, flat out through this corner. The right-hander, you can carry so much speed through there. It's one of the fastest parts of the track. These drivers delivering it well as down the inside. Nice little change there. Peruzzi up now into 3rd place. Achilles Peruzzi, that pace looking strong now. 5 places gained. Needs to make sure he can close in on the 2 ahead here. The slipstream is strong at this circuit. However, there is a lot of corners. It makes it very difficult. Changes in the background. Graham Bruno still there in 9th place. He's got that gain of 10. He's not got any further than that at the moment. He's behind Mathis Brageau. William was the fastest driver on track. That has changed. That now goes to Nikita Danilov on that last lap of the race. 101.533 is the fastest driver. Did I see a hint of a yellow flag there? No, I don't think I did. No one dropping on my screen, as we did have a non-starter in that one. Aaron Mason not taking to the track, so hopefully he's okay. Oscar Singh under investigation now as well. Over the 815. Still looking strong in this race, currently down in 19th place.
829 cut to track, and I think he has an advantage. Can you check on the cameras, please?
Right, I think in my ear that was the 829 I heard there, and gaining a lasting advantage from going off track. Now the 829 is Agustin Falagoni, who is currently in 11th place. He's up 2 places in this race. And, well, if that's the case, he might find himself in a spot of bother with the stewards at the end of this one. Right, this is now a 4-kart battle for the lead here. Perico, Tam, Peruzzi, and Capella as dust getting kicked up there. Was that Capella going wide? No, it wasn't. It was drivers further back. I think that was Mathis Brageau going wide. The 855 who's battling with the championship leader right now, who's in that second group just behind. Now, Bruno's up 12 places in this race right now as we're on the penultimate lap of this race. We are expecting fireworks between these drivers, but remember, this is only their first qualifying heat, but Albert Tam needs to win everything here. That's what he's been saying. He needs to make sure he wins. So much pressure on his shoulders here. He needs to make sure he gets maximum points in this as they head down that start-finish straight. Memories are going to be happening thick and fast over the course of this weekend as a change for third place. Capella back into P3. Peruzzi down to P4 on this final lap of the race. But the question is, can Albert Tam, second in the championship, can he get his nose down the inside? Can he fight for that lead? Can he come away with the intermediate classification points he needs to take those 25 series points to his name? They are wheel to wheel, side by side, in towards turn number 9, and he's done it. Albert Tam gets past Perico in towards turn number 9, instantly on the defensive here. Albert Tam might have to really watch out because now here comes Achilles Peruzzi into second place. Capella's got through as well, and Perico has gone down to P4. Tam controls this one into the final sector, the last couple of corners, and this one, Albert Tam, he needed to win. He's gonna win that first qualifying heat. It is Albert Tam of Switzerland on that top spot in the first qualifying heat here at Forsan for Mini 60. Can he repeat that in the next race and in the final as well today? Can he close that driver standings gap between himself and Priyan Bruno? It is going to be a really, really tough fight. But let's see. It's a good start for him. P1 in qualifying heat 1 ahead of Peruzzi. Capella from Perico. Karajkovic in P5 ahead of Priyan Bruno. Stambau in 7th place from Zucchetto. Brageau from Atika Mir in P10. Nikita Janilov finishing in 11th place ahead of Ava Lawrence. Francesco Lisignoli not having the best race in that one, dropping 6 places into P13. Agustin Falagoni did have a query whether or not track limits gain was happening in that race. Currently finished that one in P14 ahead of Harry Kallenberg and Davide Di Filippo. Daniela Verba from Oscar Singh, Martin Lometz from Jan Garzielek, Sebastian Kurz from Alex Mason, Giovanni Desani Jr. from Theodore Constantinou, Ronald Ventnor from Koda Singh, Lena Salamanca, Suleiman Mucho, and Daoud Sanfari rounding out the 29 finishers. But there on your screen, Albert Tam of Switzerland, pole in qualifying, and he transfers that into a first qualifying heat win. That title fight is most definitely on. The driver from Switzerland can rest easy now until his second qualifying heat later on today. Let's have a look at the highlights from that one. The start initially, good getaway for the front two. You can see there Perico trying to get down the inside. Not going to happen in that early stage for other drivers. Tumbling down the order. I think Koda Singh was one of them. But there were so many drivers just getting caught out in that top section of the circuit. Giovanni Desani Jr. was another one of them in that earlier stage of the race. Rest of the highlights then, Phil, made their way up the hill through the banking section. This is where it gets tight and twisty for the drivers. You saw moments between them, how close they were getting. Perico back to the inside got himself into second place. That brought smiles out on the grandstand area from drivers watching. But again, they were focused on this one. There you can see as well the drivers in the background, Perico pushing as well through. Ava Lawrence in that race. Really good qualifying for Ava Lawrence. Unfortunately, she dropped down the order. 8 places she lost in that race, falling down well into P12 as there Mathis Brageau getting caught out with the Dusty part. He was battling with Pierre Bruno, the championship leader, who did have a brilliant job there pushing through. This fight here, though, Perico and Albert Tam wheel to wheel in towards turn number 9, as close as you could get at the fastest part, but Tam just holding on to that one. There, Peruzzi able to get down the inside as well. It did make changes in that one. He did become one of the biggest movers out there, but it would be Albert Tam from Achilles Peruzzi and Vicente Capella rounding out the top 3. Brian Bruno at the end of that one, finishing P6 with a gain of 13. Is that going to be enough for him to maintain that championship lead? Well, we'll find out later on today whether or not that does affect it too much. But now we will turn on to the last race of the morning for qualifying Heat 1s. It is OKN Senior coming up next. And, well, once again in time qualifying, a very dramatic scenario for us. Daniel Kelleher in the seniors now for the first time, his second appearance in the academy program, puts it on pole position. And, well, he's found himself in the middle of that title fight. Luna Flusha, championship leader of Spain, second place. There you can see her just behind the likes of Daniel Kelleher. Hugo Ron, second in the championship, currently starting this race, P3 behind Daniel Kelleher. So he's found himself in the middle of a hornet's nest. But as we caught up with him earlier on, he did say he's not worried about that. But we'll hear from him a little bit later on. But as he gets himself primed and ready here, he was just happy to be on pole position. He said, I'm going to do my own race. I'm not worried about this title fight that's happening around me. Well, from us on the sidelines, I personally, for me, I would be worried because that is some quick drivers he's got around him. Of course, he's put it on pole position. Very talented driver is Daniel Kelleher in the world of karting. Very well known around Europe in his racing. But like you say, with Flusha and Hugo Heron right next to him, he's going to have to really dig deep in this one. The points at the moment are actually closer than you think for Luna Flusha, despite her really dominant performance over the season. With that comes big drop scores because she's got high points throughout it. The points that she drops are actually a lot larger. So that's brought the gap down to actually less than 100 points after the drop scores before they've scored any points over this weekend. Of course, that will change, but she does need to make sure she gets some good results in this one. And so far, she's done just that with qualifying P2. She's on that front row. But like you say, she's got the company of championship rival Hugo Heron just behind it of France, who after his drop scores is around about 90 or so points behind in the title fight. And there he is at this moment. And you can imagine now really starting to focus on this situation because his season's been up and down for the Frenchman. He didn't score many points at the first round. He actually scored no points in the qualifying heats phase. That was one of his points that he dropped. He has come away with a final win this season. That came at round 4, the first round in Dubai. And the rest of the Middle East phase, certainly a very tense moment for him. But he does know that he can get the job done in those finals. And that, of course, where 50 championship points are available. That is the most important ones there. Starting a little further down in the order, that is Adam Sador from Poland, starting this one P4. Strong qualifying for Adam Sador. He's not too far up in the championship standings. He's currently 17th place in the driver standings, sorry, I should say, as Flusha gets the last bit of encouragement ahead of this one. There you can see, well, I'm really impressed with Hugo Ron to really stay focused in this. It is an important one. He's got work to do over this weekend. So has Flusha. This is going to be a tight one between these two. There is a look at the previous final winners, and there's the dominance that we've seen from Luna Flusha. Cremona, Valencia, and Franciacorta. She only lost out to one of them in Valencia. Dominant throughout all of them. Can she maintain that here? at Forsan. Engines fire up as the drivers make their way out onto the circuit. As the qualifying heats phase gets underway here. Let's quickly fire you through that full starting lineup as the sun continues to bear down on us here at the Forsan International Sports Resort. It's Daniel Kelleher and Luna Flusha on row number 1. Hugo Heron and Adam Sador on row 2. Marcus Shilkudis and Mohamed Benemni, the winner of Dubai, starts this one on the 3rd row of the grid. Don't write him off just yet in this weekend. He could certainly be another contender. Austin Gale and Hamza Al-Fayez go from row number 4. Ghazi Motlaka and Isaac Say on row number 5. Francis Sijelski and Maximilian Rafalik go from row 6. They'll have Jean Caras and Philippe Caras, the two brothers from France, start on row 7. Gianna Pascal and Alessandro Bigi start from row number 8. They'll have Islaveta Kozlova and Cole Hewitson on row number 9. Charlotte Page and Sky Parker round out the top 20 on row number 10. Sophia Sanfari and Charles Lambert round out row number 11. They'll have Sadamat Soy and Prix Torvino on row 12. Rayan Caruz and Anastasia Gerasis on row 13. They'll have Sebastian Korpeng and Yana Kapoor on row 14. Julian Pope and Louis Hartmann, they round out the top 30 out on track. And unfortunately for Louis Hartmann, technical flag in his time qualifying puts him right on that back row. So real shake-up for him over the course of this one. There again, a look at the weather. 25 degrees. Track is dry. It's a lovely, lovely day here in Abu Dhabi ahead of the final round of the Champions of the Future Academy program. This is a tense moment for the drivers, of course. Championship trophies here as well as the weekend trophies. I've seen those championship trophies. Absolutely astonishing. Very heavy as well, I might add. I helped set them up in the foyer area, and I've got to say my arms were tired pretty quickly with that one. But here we go. It's seniors. It's qualifying heat 1. Lights are out. We're racing down in towards turn number 1. It's a good start from the front row, and right there at the beginning of that one, a solid start for the rest of them. Flusha's dropped to 3rd place, but right round the outside there's been some big changes up there as well. Hugo Heron, I think, has got up into 2nd place. Daniel Kelleher able to sweep around the outside, I think, has held on to that lead spot here as everyone fights their way through in this early stage. Down the hill they go. Down the inside there, you can see Maximilian Rafalik trying to look to the inside here as the drivers push their way through nicely. There you can see Hugo Heron is in 2nd place. Flusha down to 3rd. This is still a strong spot for her, but she needs to remain focused on this one. There, though, your race leader, your pole sitter from qualifying, Daniel Kelleher, is breaking away, and I'll add, he is not. He's effectively a wild card into this one here as Hugo Heron is going to defend this position like all it's worth here. This is a title fight, not at this stage, but right now this is a title fight between these two all the way to the end. Heron needs these strong results. He needs to effectively take race wins, but he needs to make sure that Flusha stays behind if he wants any chance of taking that title at the end of this season here at Forsan. Flusha, though, will dig deep, but she's under pressure again. Down the inside, Marka Shilkunas of Lithuania gets through into P3, and, well, Shilkunas says to Flusha, let's go, let's battle, and these two have been the main protagonists over the course of this season. I mean, Shilkunas is 3rd in the championship standings at the moment. He's got 412. Mathematically, it's not possible for him to close that championship gap up. He's not in the title fight, but he certainly could make it interesting here for them because Shilkunas has taken now 2nd place away. Shilkunas up to P2. Now that makes it more interesting for Heron because he needs to be finishing higher than this if he wants to make sure that that fight goes his way. Flusha is still on that rear bumper. She is not going away. She refuses to go away. She is a champion. She is the title leader right now. She needs to focus on those good results. Philippe Caras now fastest driver on the circuit as the battle's happening thick and fast throughout the field here. We cut back a little further down in the order, as you can see. Down the inside there, a big lunge for the rest of the field. Adam Sador pushing his way through nicely. Austin Gale there as well. Ghazi Motlaka in P7. In that number 2, he came up to me at the start of the weekend and said to me, Anthony, I'm running the same number that Finn McLaughlin run in the inaugural Academy Program race at this very circuit, and I'm going to win this entire weekend. That is what Ghazi said to me, and well, he's proving himself in this one. He's up 2 places now from his 9th in qualifying, pushing his way through in this race. On to lap 4 of 12, and everything holding strong right now. What a big send down the inside there. Adam Sador pushing nicely in this phase. He has dropped down in the order, but pulling away nicely from the rest of the field. Now, Daniel Kelleher's lead is around 9/10 of a second, as Sky Parker is finding herself in a spot of bother. She's got Jean Caras, Gianna Pascal trying to push in just behind. And the fight's still happening in that middle pack section. In fact, Sky Park has actually had a really good race in this one. He's up 6 places for the young lady from Wales in the United Kingdom. And she has really good ones here. Right, Kelleher from Chilkunas, head on, and Flusha. Still 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. And let's have a look on board here in the top section of how close it's getting. And, well, there, confirmation of how close it's getting. Absolutely wheel to wheel there. Believe we are on board with Ghazi Motlaka there, and just showcasing his track position right now. But showcasing how close it is out there around the Al Forsan circuit. It's a tight track here. It's only 8 meters wide at its widest. And it certainly makes it a little bit challenging for overtakes with the undulations, the ups and downs, the hairpins, the tight corners out there. Really is a tough situation for these drivers to be in. But still, no change between these top runners. Chilkunas, is he managing to close the gap at the moment? Yes, he is. It's down to 0.8 of a second, but there he can still, he's got Hugo on still on that rear bumper. Let's bring them all along for this one as eager eyes watch the first qualifying heat for the senior category here. And eyes focusing on this one. Still, the gap now 0.7 of a second. I've got to say, Chilkunas is closing that gap now. There is the gap for the drivers behind as well. Head-on and Flusha, 0.2 between them. There's a look at their current race positionings. Now, well, Head-on has not gained or lost anything. He was up to second earlier on with a gain of 1 position. He's back to his original starting spots. Flusha's on the back foot on this one. She has dropped down 2 spots after starting P2. But her pace still very, very strong at this halfway point of this one. So we're on lap 6. We'll be ending this lap very soon on to lap 7 of 12. But reminder of over the season, of course, Flusha, we saw those points come up earlier on. And the reason why her championship fight's not as well broken away as much as I think she'd like is yes, okay, the finals have gone her way, but it's been the qualifying heats in some area. You look back at the first round of the championship, she scored maximum points in the first day of racing, 25 points and 50 points. But then in the second day, only 7 points for the qualifying heats phase for Flusha, but then took the race win and the extra championship point for the fastest lap of the race as well. So again, it just shows that she had extraordinary pace there. She only lost out in the second round when we were at Valencia. Lost out to Marcus Chilkunas for that one as well. Austin Gale starting to make the moves now. Austin Gale snuck in on these front runners here. Has got past Hugo Head-on. He's moved himself up into 3rd place now. Flusha's got through as well, so big changes happening here, actually, while I was looking down at those results. So Flusha now up to 3rd place. Head-on down to P5. This does make it interesting now. Flusha just needs to maintain this pace now across the weekend. She, like I say, she can have a relaxing weekend. She doesn't need to win. She just needs to have those high results, put herself in a strong position, and she'll be clear. She's clear at the moment by 90 series points right now, 90 or so. So it's just in that fight here. Gale looking strong. Gale is not a championship contender in this one. Austin Gale currently 12th in the points. But just needs to push themselves up in this moment. And a lot of these drivers are just looking for a big show on this last weekend. A big showcase of seeing what they can do over the course of this. Like I say, everyone just trying to maintain composure at this point of the racing. Flusha looking so strong in this one here. Now behind Shilkunis, these two have battled each other quite fiercely over the course of this season. Undoubtedly in that first round at Cremona, where these two actually got pretty tangled together at the start of the race in spectacular fashion. Marcus Shilkunis suffering from a rather large-scale accident. Thankfully, he was okay after that, but showcasing that the two have been pretty fierce in their fighting over the course of this season. There's a look at his results, and there you can see the 28th place in the first round. Scored the 10th in the second day of racing in Cremona. Of course, that was after the accident. Then it came better for him at Valencia, 3rd and 1st, where he took his first and I believe only win of the series. Shilkunis only taken those 50 points there at round number 2. The rest of the season here in Dubai has been up and down, still consistently inside that top 10, the man who sits in P2 right now. We've not said much about Daniel Kelleher in this race on lap 10 of 12. He is still cleared by 0.8 of a second. Still in control of this race. There's a look at Flusha's results. First across the board in Europe, apart from Valencia in that second day. Of course, Shilkunis claiming that one. But the Middle East phase is where it's gone a little bit topsy-turvy for Flusha. 6th and 5th, still strong results in Dubai. Elaine, 16th in that final. She came away with really low points in that one, and 3rd in the second day, so clawed it back in that second final. But like I say, scored no points in that first one. On to lap 11 we go. 10 laps completed. Last lap board will be out this time to the drivers, and it's still Kelleher, Shilkunis, Flusha. 1, 2, 3. Gale still in P4 ahead of Heron. Sador from Menemni. Motlaka is up to 8th place now. So still some strong results there from Rafalik. Philippe Caras, that is, at 4 places, now inside the top 10. His brother Jean Caras subsequently down 4 places in this one, currently in P17. So keep a close eye on that order, but at the moment these front runners are looking calm. Flusha, though, I think would benefit from getting past Shilkunis here, though, just to give her that little bit of a helping hand. It's not needed. She can just stay there, and she knows that. She's put herself in a really good mindset ahead of this weekend. She's just thinking, let's focus, let's get this kart to the end, not get ourselves caught up in silly races and cause incidents, but she just wants to make sure she can get to the end of this weekend with some clean results. Last lap board is out. Kelleher's lead is still now over 0.8 of a second. He's doing a superb job. This is his first outing in the senior category, and is breaking away from this fight here of Shilkunis and Flusha. Don't think anything's going to change there. Gale's not going to close in as well on them. He's there in P4. He's got company of Heron. Heron might still get the chance of getting past, and that is a vital one for him. He needs to, again, make sure as well. Flusha uses all the track and a little bit extra there on the exit of turn number 9 to carry that speed through. Again, they were told in the briefing at the start of this one, if they go off track limits and get the undercut, gain a lasting advantage from going off track limits, they will be in a spot of bother. Checker flag is out, though, and Daniel Kelleher of Ireland claims that win across the line. A very strong performance for the driver from Ireland. Shilkunis finishes in 2nd place. A really good drive there from the Lithuanian. 3 places gained ahead of Luna Flusha. A strong result for Flusha. Exactly what she needs ahead of Austin Gale. Hugo Heron from Adam Sador. Mohamed Menemni from Ghazi Motlaka. Maximin Rafalek from Philippe Caras. Hamza Al-Fayez from Franciszek Sajelski in 12th place. Isaac Say ahead of Sky Parker's 6th place gain to finish in P14. And Elizaveta Kozlova rounding out the top 15. There's a look at intermediate classifications. Kelleher from Flusha, Gale from Heron. But they are not title points. They are purely intermediate classification points. Second qualifying heat coming up later on today for the seniors. That is due to start at 1:40 local time here in Abu Dhabi. There then are the provisional results at the end of that one. The top 15 we have gone over. Still a really strong result for the drivers in that top 15. Biggest mover in that top 15 is Sky Parker from the United Kingdom. The young female in her first appearance here at the Al Forsan circuit. There is 16th place below Alessandro Biggie from Gianna Pascal, Jean Caras from Charlotte Page, the Australian not gaining or losing any places in that one, finishing P19. Sophia Sanfari with 1 position gained in P20 from Sadamat Soy. The pole sitter from Elaine day 1 to racing, ahead of Cole Hewitson, Louis Hartman from Gianna Kapoor, Rayan Caruz from Prix de Reno, Julian Pope from Anastasia Geresis, Charles Lambert and Sebastian Corpeng round out the 30 runners in that race. No retirements, brilliant to see for the seniors, all of them getting to the end. But there, Daniel Kelleher, flag to flag, a strong start to the weekend, puts himself right up at the sharp end. Here though, the start of the race, great getaway for the field. Ghazi Motlaka on board, showcasing a really strong start in that early stage. 2 positions he gained as he's running, of course, the same number of the Irishman who won here in the inaugural round in the seniors, Finn McLaughlin on that 2-2-1. There was the outside view from it. A little bit of a shaky start for some drivers in the back. There were 3-4 wide, a lot of tyre smoke getting kicked up there with drivers going wheel to wheel in that early phase. A lot of drivers running wide there. That kicks up a lot of dust on the outsiders. This young man here, Marcus Shilkunis, gaining the moves in the early stages of that race. 3 places gained, pushed himself up nicely. This was Ghazi Motlaka again going wheel to wheel with Adam Sador, just showcasing how close you can get. And of course, there's not a lot of runoff here in some sectors. There's really tight barriers to the circuit. There you can see it. Adam Sador just very narrowly avoiding contact with the barrier on the exit there. Flusha though, gaining those moves, getting past back Hugo Heron. Later, Austin Gale would find his way through as well, and putting Hugo Heron on that back foot. Checker flag though would come out. Daniel Kelleher of Ireland claiming that first senior win of the season in his first appearance in the seniors, 2nd appearance overall ahead of Shilkunis and Flusha. Well, that is the first half of the qualifying heats phase done and dusted. Second half is coming up a little bit later on. That kick starts at 1 o'clock local time, which is in around 42 minutes or so, until we head back to Mini 60 and seniors for their second qualifying heat. And then, of course, the finals coming up later on today. And, of course, that gets repeated tomorrow. So we'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the second round of qualifying heats for the final round here, the Champions of the Future Academy Programme. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Forsan International Sports Resort car track for round 6 of the Champions of the Future Academy program. We've already witnessed 3 qualifying heats, 1 per categories for the minis, juniors and seniors. We are now about to witness qualifying heat 2s head out onto the circuit, and that will then provide the first round of series points that will go to our series finalists, who will be getting crowned that driver of the year. But OKN Junior qualifying heat 2 is coming up next out on track, and this is going to be a very tense moment in the junior category. Of course, everyone getting themselves well riled up, ready to go for this one. Toby Gale, of course, was the pole sitter from timed qualifying. Anagnostiadis as well, second in time qualifying, but they switched places in the race. The Australian taking the first win earlier on from the driver from Thailand, and certainly has delivered some very, very strong results over the course of the season in total. With other drivers as well, starting this one, Leonid Peruzzi as well on that second row of the grid. Marshall as well. They had challenging results. P4 for William Marshall, didn't gain or lose any places. Peruzzi dropping back just a little bit, taking that P5 finish. It was Nathan Kappen who stepped up into 3rd place in that first race earlier on. And Igor Padotti as well, claiming that 6th place spot. So again, just those ups and downs. There's a look at some of the marshals out there having to deal with the heat out on circuit. And everything primed and ready to go in this one. The confidence levels, I'm sure, rising for the drivers out there. But like you say, it is a very tense moment for the field, because they just need to make sure that, well, everything kind of goes their way here. As right now, it's all down to these second qualifying heats, and the points that they accumulate from this go towards their total over the season. There's Gazi Motlika on the gantry, just looking alongside one of the senior racers who stepped up. There is Anagnostiadis getting his gloves on now, getting focused, dialed in, ready ahead of this one. Championship leader going into this weekend. He is the driver who really needs to focus here. He's got a commanding lead at the moment, that included with the drop scores. So his fight is still strong for Anagnostiadis. He's got 530 points to his name versus the 420 from Connor Clancy. Clancy finds himself a lot further back in the standings and, well, in the qualification results in this one so far, because he's, well, right there on the 15th place spot for Clancy. So he really needs to have the good results here to try and push his way back through. There is Leonidas Peruzzi on the number 11, representing the United Arab Emirates, P5 in that first race earlier on, so did slightly go backwards a couple of places. But like we say, Kappen pushed his way through in those early stages. So the intermediate classifications are as follows. Anagnostiadis with that win with the 50. Gale from Kappen, 44 and 41. Marshall with 38. Peruzzi with 36 from Pedrotti, Vitva and Shilkaneta with 30 points. There is Marshall. William Marshall from South Africa. A very distinctive helmet livery that he sports. Psyching himself up ready for this one. Strong result earlier on. Came away with that P4, 38 points to his name. And, of course, Nathan Kappen currently 3rd in those points with 41 points to his names here. It's a very tense moment here at Forsan. Of course, the track, a very demanding circuit, technical as well. 17 corners to negotiate. It's tight, it's twisty. It's an action-packed circuit. It's very demanding on a driver, especially in this heat. Engines fire up then. Drivers making their way out onto the circuit. Let's take you through that full... Oh, dear. Maybe we're not heading out to the circuit. There's engine stalling and drivers stopping. So let's see what happens here. Right, it's Gale and Anagnostiadis on that front row of the grid. Leonidas Peruzzi and William Marshall on row number 2. Nathan Kappen and Egon Pedrotti on row number 3. They'll have Arjen Singh and Ella Häkkinen on row 4. Dinia Islamov and Matej Vitva on row 5. Mitats Jain, who needs a good race in this one, started 11th, finished 24th earlier on, so needs a better result in this one. Nicholas Stanley from the USA taking 10th place and starting this one on the 6th row of the grid. Maxim Bobajov and Vanessa Shilkaneta on row number 7. They'll be going from Connor Clancy and Axel Nocom on row 8. Oscar Gallin, oh dear. Well, that's not gone too well at all, is it? So, well, that was the 14 of Victoria Farfus trying to go through, and I think Zachary Adole just getting caught out there, and yeah, it's only a single file on the exit of that one. Last couple of rows in this one, Didier Kreeft and Jacob Woods, Vera Yuland and Sujana Dandu rounding out the back of the field. So, on this formation lap, let's see what happens in this race. But like we're saying, those results from earlier on, really, really strong for Anna Gnostianis. Championship leader. Just needs to maintain that momentum in this second one. And let's see what happens here. Well, there is Luna Flusha having a quick chat with Gwen Legrue. And of course, Luna Flusha is one of many young drivers who are part of the young driver program for Mercedes. Been signed up by the team and of course has delivered some really strong results. I suspect we're going round again on this one, and yeah, my screen has not got any live timing showing up on it, so yes, I suspect they have gone round again. New formation lap coming in at 1:02, which corresponds. So yeah, half the field not formed up there at all, and you can put that down to the fact that the marshals are just pushing the carts out of that Parc Ferme area. So on this second formation lap, that should hopefully give those drivers who got caught out on that pre-grid to close back in and get themselves sorted out, squared away in this one. Of course, this being the second heat of the day and the last one for the juniors before their finals later on today. Vital to get a good position in, as there you can see the minis on the balcony there watching away. There you can see on the right-hand side Priyan Bruno, current championship leader in the Mini 60 category. Just get himself ready to watch this qualifying heat. Well, there we go. There's Atika Mir, one of the young female drivers in the Mini 60 category. Really strong performance from Atika Mir over the course of this season. A very young, competitive young driver who I'm sure will go on to do great things. Here we go. Lights are out. We are racing down in towards turn number 1. Great start from that inside row. Once again, Gnostianis on that outside row can't get the power down, as one going very slowly at the background there after a spin. Marcels Capella, that retirement earlier on, certainly coming back again this time around, but in the race, luckily, with that half spin, managed to keep the engine going, and stalling at turn number 1 is not a great thing to do, because that's an uphill push that you've got to try and restart. It's hard enough to push these carts along on flat ground, let alone uphill. If it was on the exit of turn 2, it would have been a downhill push, so it might have gone out better for him. But thankfully, it didn't even stall at all. Eyes on this one here. But Anagnostiadis, well, he's dropped back a little bit here. He's on the back foot right now, and he's under a lot of pressure. Marshall's got through on this one. Gale still in control, as down the inside there looking. Matej Vitva trying to pile on that pressure in that early stages. So it's Gale from Peruzzi, Kappen from Marshall, and Gnostiadis from Pedrotti at this moment in time. Now Singh still in P7 behind Vitva. Stanley from Ella Häkkinen running out the top 10. Eyes focusing on this one. Big direction changes there as they swap positions. Kappen once again on the charge here. Down the inside, battling away with Marshall and Peruzzi. But the number 11 back through down the inside, retakes second place. And this is good news for Toby Gale. He is able to break away here pretty nicely at the front. He's already clear by 6/10 at the start of that last lap. What will it be at the end of lap number 2? They're approaching that finish line now, but Peruzzi little bit untidy through that final sector. He's still got position, but he's going to lose a lot of time there. And yes, indeed, he's going to lose out on second place. Down the inside, Capin just had the exit speed there. Peruzzi just took a much different racing line. It didn't work out for him through that final sector. And now he finds himself dropping back and now having to deal with Marshall. So Marshall's still there. Anagnostidis has gone down to P5, but now is the fastest driver on circuit. It's going to go down the inside of Marshall. Pedrotti's going to follow as well. But there, though, now Capin is clear in second place, ready to close down on Toby Gale. That gap was 1.1 seconds. Let's see what it will be when they next cross the start-finish line. There, though, Peruzzi dealing away with it. Here was the direction change. Look at the commitment there through the chicane. And that is through turns 5 and 6. A lot of that inside curb getting used. As you keep it all four, though, be absolutely fine. Eyes on this. Well, Capin's gap is not closing in. Gale has taken another 4/10 out of him. So Toby Gale's pace here looking very, very strong. Of course, these tyres will be the same tyres that they use for time qualifying this morning, as here comes Anagnostidis on the charge. On the inside there, but Peruzzi just follows it. Now, both of them run a little wide there, as under investigation now is the 56. That's a little further down in the order. Didier Kreeft under investigation. There is the notification on your screen. So Didier Kreeft will have to keep an eye on that one, as Marshall continues to pile on the pressure on Pedrotti just ahead. Egon Pedrotti doing a really good job here, maintaining with this lead group. Earlier on, where did Pedrotti finish? P6 after starting P6, so already having a better race here, up one place into P5. Looking further back in the field, any big movers as we keep an eye on this lead fight. Via Chopra up 7 places in this race. Case Aziza up 8 places in this race. So again, some big movers happening through the field here, as here comes Anagnostidis once again back down the inside at turn number 7. Down the hill they go. He's under pressure once more as Pedrotti finds himself down the inside, and Anagnostidis gets squeezed out wide. Now, this is the situation that the Australian did not want to find himself in here, as Vitva's going to go down the inside. And now the Australian finds himself down in, I think, P7 now. This is still an okay position for him to be in. Of course, his main championship rival, Conor Clancy, who was still 110 points behind at this stage, is in P10. So they are closing in on each other. I don't think there's too much to worry about here. He's not going to claim maximum points, and he is 110 points behind Anagnostidis in the end. So Anagnostidis literally just needs to keep it calm, keep it focused, get to the end of this one, and he should be all clear. Oh, as Pedrotti and Peruzzi fighting away here pretty fiercely. Marshall's got back involved now. Marshall back into P4 here. And still, what is going to happen between these two as the two go side by side? Vitva down the inside through turn 9. Wheel banging between the two of them. And Peruzzi goes backwards. Anagnostidis gets through as well. So Anagnostidis back up into P6 here. And Peruzzi, despite his best level of trying to hold on there, just getting squeezed out from the rest. Well, Gale leads. Clear by 1.8 seconds now. This is the battle for third place, because Capin is clear as well. And he's clear by a couple of seconds from Pedrotti. These guys are 4.6 seconds down the road. This is the battle for P3 on your screens here, as Gale continues to set fastest laps of the race. Down to those 56s, looking very quick through the hairpin. And all the meanwhile, this battle's allowing drivers behind to close in. Clancy, like I say, he's there in 8th place now. Championship rival to Anagnostidis is closing in. Don't think it's going to be enough, though, at this stage of the weekend to really pile on pressure of that title fight. Anagnostidis has been exemplary over the course of this season, as Marshall tries to look to the inside. Can't get it done. Pedrotti with the better exit holds on to it as they enter onto lap number 8. Last lap board will be out this time for the juniors. Eyes focused on this one. Gale clear, 2.1. Continues to break away from Capin. Vera Yurland, the latest driver under investigation, as off the track and out is Victoria Farfus. Unfortunately, the Brazilian is going to try and get it restarted. There's the one attempt. It didn't get going, and she's out. That is a disaster for one of the Discover Your Drive Initiative drivers. Has been a really strong contender over the course of this season, and it's just not started well on the first day of racing here. Of course, that final and tomorrow, still plenty of time for Victoria Farfus to shine here. Oh dear, and that was a big hit there, and that was with Casper Reipold as well. So I think she was just an innocent victim in that one. Reipold was down the inside. Yellow flags are out there, of course, as we go on to the final lap for the recovery on this. Changes have happened. Anagnosiadis back to P4 now, is fighting with this one. Scratch that, make that P3 for the Australian. Back through. He had to wait a little while, but he certainly wanted to wait for that last lap. Just bit by bit, slowly attacked at that group. And now, championship leader back into P3. There you can see the front two. They've gone. And there's a look at the qualifying heats. Toby Gale's looking to claim 25 series points to his name. Capin is going to look at second. Capin, this is a brilliant result for Nathan Capin. Very, very strong for him. I don't see his name at the sharp end of the championship. Of course, as his appearance here in the academy program really shines. There, though, Toby Gale across the line. He's going to take it. A checker flag there puts him right at the sharp end. He will start on pole position for that final later on today. Capin finishing in P2 will join him on that front row. Anagnosiadis dropping to P2. He will start alongside Gale. Capin will be behind with Marshall. But Toby Gale, that's a really strong drive. He dropped back on that last lap. He didn't push too hard. The gap was over 2 seconds. He dropped back by 7/10. Try and save those tyres as much as he possibly could. But, well, Toby Gale looking in control right now. With that pole position earlier on in time qualifying, those qualifying heats, a second and a win, puts him on pole position for that final later on today. Nathan Capin from Anagnosiadis, Pedrotti from Marshall, Vitva from Peruzzi, Clancy from Singh, Stanley from Hakkinen, Bobrajov from Gallin, Simmons from Islamov. Hands out the runners in the top 15. Chopra from Raipod, Pizzuto from Shilkanete, Aziza from Nocom, Delay from Mikalescu, Creed from Dandu, Sanjana Dandu, that is Capella from Sujana Dandu, Woods, Vishomirska, and Kareen Kaur ran out the top 30. Dudkowski and Yurland 31st and 32nd. And the rest of the field as well. Victoria Farfus, unfortunately, retiring. Itas Jane as well, also retiring in that race. Well, you saw it right at the end, under investigation, the number 40 for Casper Reipold for that incident at turn number 1. Now let's have a look at the highlights from that race. And, well, Toby Gale, flag to flag in that one. Exactly what he needed. Driver from Thailand certainly delivering there. Capella right at the start, just not getting the runaway. And this one here as well. Zachariah Dole on board with him, battling away. He had that difficult moment at the start of the race as Farfus tried to overtake on the pre-grid when his car initially didn't start, and unfortunately that just caused a bit of a rolling roadblock, unfortunately, and a pile-up on the exit of the pre-grid. Race underway, though, and it was quite clear to see in the early stages that Capin's performance earlier on wasn't just a fluke, getting himself to this front pack and pushing his way forward. There was the retirement in the earlier stages of Mitans Jain, unfortunately. The driver for the UAE down 23 places, and he finished 24th earlier on. This time he finishes 34th, so that good result he was looking for, unfortunately didn't go his way. This one though, Anagnosiadis on that charge back. after dropping all the way down to P5, 6 and 7 in that early stage. The Australian, the current championship leader, certainly had his work cut out for him in that second qualifying heat, but the good result puts him on the second row of the grid. Once again, he puts himself in a really strong spot here. Same place he's been starting for these races. He's had to work a little bit harder, though. He's been on that outside row as the parents look on and forward. There was the supporting team for Peruzzi. Leonels Peruzzi in that one. Again, up in that top group, but unfortunately, at the end of that one, dropped to 7th place. That was that unfortunate moment at turn 1. Victoria Farfus out. She got the one attempt to get it restarted. Unfortunately, it didn't go, and she was out on that last lap, and Reipold under investigation. Vitva battling away there. That was Peruzzi in the last few attempts to try and get alongside. Didn't have the exit speed. Gale took the win and clear by some way. 4.7 seconds clear by Anagnostiadis in 3rd place. 1.3 seconds clear from Kappen in P2. Well, we'll see those juniors out later on today for their final. That final is due to start local time, 3 o'clock. So you've got a couple of hours for that one. But in between now and then, we do have 2 more races to go. Mini 60 qualifying heat 2 is coming up next. And again, the results from this one, pretty strong results from many of the drivers. Including our championship protagonists there. Albert Tam, strong results earlier on, came away with a P1. Perico, who starts alongside him, came away with a P4, dropped down just a little bit in that first race. But second in the championship. Albert Tam right there on your screen. Needs to focus on these results. He needed the win earlier on, needs to claim another win here. Or actually, he could claim a little bit more. As long as he can only drop down to second. If he drops down to second, it'd still be okay. He would claim the championship points as long as Achilles Peruzzi doesn't win. They would be joint on points. But I think it'd still be okay, actually. This is a look at the replays on that previous race earlier on. And there you can see Perico, who's there on your live feed on the right-hand side, is race earlier on. He was leading in that sharp stage, and he did say to us in qualifying that, you know, the pace is there. He got held up in qualifying, which put him second fastest on one of his fastest laps, and it's a very unfortunate one for him, but he sits 3rd in the actual full championship as well as leading the mini under-10s. So a very strong contender there. Vicente Capella, 3rd place earlier on for the Portuguese driver. Thumbs up for Vicente, and he's getting himself primed in, ready for this one on that second row. Joined by Ava Lawrence on the treble 8. Brilliant, brilliant qualifying for Ava Lawrence. I'm inclined to say that's her best qualifying of the season. The driver for the United Arab Emirates in the treble 8. Suffered a little bit, though, in the first qualifying heat, dropping to P10. From 4th. So again, just looking for that strong result in this one. There is Ava Lawrence in the treble 8, one of the Discover Your Drive initiative drivers, and a very well-known name in the younger categories. Very strong background in terms of her karting, and like you say, stepping up in this one. Really looking strong in Mini 60 is young Ava Lawrence. Drivers behind as well, big shake-up, and not as well forgetting current championship leader in this one, Brian Bruno. Superb race earlier on for Bruno. Started at 19th, gained 13th places in that race to put him right up in that sharp end of the field. Engines are fired up, drivers are making their way out, or in fact, no, not all engines have fired up. There is Brian Bruno. Now, it has got going now, but that was a slight concern. The championship leader, well, may have some mechanical gremlins in that wagon. Well, let's hope that kart goes to the end of this one so he can maintain that fight. Here's a look at the full grid then. It's Albert Tam and Nicolo Perico on row number 1. Vincente Capella and Ava Lawrence on row 2. Lorenzo Zucchetto and Enzo Stamberg on row number 3. Francesco Lizagnoli and Achilles Peruzzi go from row 4. They have Nikita Janilov and Benjamin Kalajkovic on row number 5. Atika Mir and Matis Brageau on row 6. They have Augustine Falagoni and Daniela Verba on row 7. Koda Singh and Maddox Mason on row 8. They have Oscar Singh and Mark-Martin Lumetz on row number 9. Priam Bruno, hopefully his card is all still good. He will be starting on the 10th row of the grid alongside Giovanni Desani Jr., Ari Kallenberg and Aaron Mason on row 11. Davide Di Filippo and Sebastian Kers on row 12. They'll have Theodore Constantinou and Jan Godzielek on row 13. Lina Salamanca and Roland Ventner on row number 14. They have Daoud Zanfari and Suleiman Mucho on row 15. Drivers have finished their out lap. They're on their formation lap now. There's a look at the current qualifying heat results. Tam from Peruzzi, Capella from Perico, Kalajkovic from Brno, and the rest of the field, Stamberg and Brageau there as well in the top 8. Really impressed with Priam Bruno's drive there as race director Martin Bean on the gantry ahead of starting this race. And of course, he's looking for a nice, clean start here. He wants 2x2 rolling start formation. No drivers out of formation. No drivers accelerating too early. That's a common trendsetter at this circuit. Difficult to get those initial getaways, well, strong getaways, because, of course, you come through turns 16 and 17. It's a tight chicane. And the front runners, of course, get through that chicane much sooner than the drivers at the back. They get on the power earlier, and unfortunately the drivers who are right at the back then get left behind because, yes, they're unable to get on the power because they're going into that very tight final corner. Let's see what happens here. Out of the final corner then into the tram lines. Second heat of the day for Mini 60. Lights are out. We are racing down in towards turn 1. And it's a good getaway for the inside row. That'll be Tam, Capella, Zucchetto that get that drive away. A little bit of chopping and changing in the background there, but everyone through the first few corners unscathed. And it's a good, strong performance then for Mini 60 in this opening lap. Bit of dust getting kicked up once again at that chicane. Matis Brageau just getting caught out on that inside line. Saw him coming over the chicane there, but all okay. Still in formation. Nice breakaway for the front runners. Mini 60, you need this sort of situation where you work together with a group of you to try and push your way along as down the inside in the early stages there. Very good, though, for Achilles Peruzzi. It's what he needs. So just keep an eye on it because now he's lost contact with the driver ahead now. And Perico trying to break away. Back onto the start-finish straight they go. It's Tam, Capella, Perico, Kalajkovic, Lawrence, Peruzzi up those 2 places into P6. Stamberg in 7th. Zucchetto from Daniela Verba. 5 places gained on this opening lap. Davide Di Filippo as well, up 7. Jan Godzielek up 9 places. Big movers in the background there. But eyes on this one. Perico in 3rd place. Has got Kalajkovic just behind. You can see him there in the gold helmet. Tucking as much as he can, saying, working with Ava Lawrence. But a start for Lawrence this time around, only dropping the 1 spot. Still in that lead group. Tam has not been able to drop Capella. Still right there as, whoa, here, look at this, 3 wide through turn 12 in the background there. Overtakes coming in thick and fast here. Big movers here. Like I say, Brno up to P15 as well. Let's see how they line up at the end of this lap. As all the drivers using all the track and more available to them. Peruzzi fastest out there, and Stamberg's not had the greatest run on that one. He's dropped to 11th place. And results behind still the same. Brno going through as now we're starting to see Kalajkovic go to battle here. Gets that move done on Perico. Perico fights back though. Retakes that 3rd place spot. Albeit they've lost time now. And a change for the lead. Capella through past Tam. As the top 2 now change. the halfway point of this lap. Ava Lawrence again, not just finding the spot to get through just yet. But with Capella and Tam, line astern here, we could see these changes there again. Here comes the likes of Peruzzi. Through now, gets past Ava Lawrence. And Ava on the charge back as well. In fact, I think Krajkovic has dropped back to the back of this train. He has. So Krajkovic has been passed by Lawrence and Peruzzi. Peruzzi getting past them both. Up into P4. So, these group here, no change at the moment. What does this do to the intermediate classifications? Albert Tam, well, even in this second place, he's still in a good position. 94 points to his name in the intermediate classification. He would still take the 25 series points that he's so desperately needs. But the question still remains is how well will Priyan Bruno do? He's up into 12th place now. He's gained 7 places so far in this race. As Ava Lawrence looks to the inside there at the exit of turn 8. Not close enough this time around, stays behind. They enter now in towards 9, 10 and 11. Here's a look at Tam and Capella. Chopping and changing, and Capella dropping back there. So Tam back in the lead and controlling this one. Across the line they go. Tam leads. Perico second, Peruzzi third. Capella down to 4th place now. Lawrence is there in P5. Krajkovic into P6. Zucchetto from Dalalov. Brajot from Daniela Verba. Stamberg in 11th. From Priyan Bruno in 12th place. That is the question. And you can see him there in the background, slowly closing in on this train, which is getting ever larger now as Capella is on the charge back. Down the inside at turn 7. Retakes 3rd place. Pushing through. And this gives Tam a very good position here. Now, 100 points to the name. Definitely securing those 25 series points to help close that title fight gap between himself and Priyan Bruno. Might as well focus on this though. We're on lap 5 of 7. And no change on this second half of this lap. Across the line, hand signals coming in just to keep pushing. Keep focusing, no messing around. Dig deep and just try and close these gaps. They are starting to open here. Tam and Perico are looking very strong in 1st and 2nd. And there you can see, well, with Capella chopping and changing, Perico now goes back up to 2nd. And with Perico in P2, in the points, this will help him out as, wow, nice direction change there from Krajkovic just to try and get down the inside. Did not work out for him there into the hairpin though. Stays behind. And we'll just have to think very logically here about where he wants to get these overtakes done as, oh, big send down the inside. Peruzzi on Capella. Nicely done. And unfortunately, Ava Lawrence just not able to get that cut down the inside as well. So that splits the two of them apart. Peruzzi and Lawrence fighting very strong together in this race. We go on to the final lap here. Ava Lawrence continues to battle with Capella just behind, but Tam and Perico 1st and 2nd here. And Perico's pace has been decent, 2nd in qualifying. Told us that he was caught up in traffic, was unable to put that fastest lap down, but he said his pace is strong, and now his pace is even stronger as he takes to the front of this field here. Now Peruzzi has a chance. Tam's going to fight back. They are wheel-to-wheel through turn 9, but Perico holds it on the inside. Here comes Peruzzi to the inside, into 10. Not close enough, stays behind. Top 3 so close here. Perico, Tam, Peruzzi. This will still be good for Tam in the intermediate classification. He's still looking at a top score, which is exactly what he needs. But Peruzzi is trying to fight back in this one here. It's not going to be close enough. Tam's going to take it. It's a long run to the line. Perico takes it from Albert Tam. Peruzzi finishes in P3. A very, very close finish. But my goodness, Nicolo Perico was not wrong when he said the pace is quick enough to take the race lead. well. Perico will make his way back to Parc Ferme. Everything will get checked over just to make sure all is above board, but all these drivers on the same equipment, of course, the Mini 60, powered by the TM crew. Of course, the Paralin Opportunities chassis, big showing from Paralin here as they all make their way back. They still look like they're racing. Guys, you're under yellow flag conditions. Slowly make your way back. So one of those things that race director Martin Bean always does talk about. As soon as that checker flag goes out, guys, you're no longer racing. There's no point going fast. There's a look at your full results, though. Perico, Tam from Peruzzi, Capella from Lawrence, Kalajkovic from Zucchetto, Daniela Verba from Zalilov, Brajo from Bruno, 11th place. Only 8 places gained in that one for Priyan Bruno. But still a strong fight. Stamberg finishing in 12th place from Davide Di Filippo, up 10 places, finishing P13. Koda Singh from Zignoli, Mason from Kaliberg, Garzielik from Chris, Velagoni from Singh, Mir, Lormetz, Desani Jr., Constantinu, Salamanca, Venter, and Mucho, Zamfari, and Mason round out the runners in that race. There, though, Nicolo Perico of Italy. High fives all around. Strong drive. It's, of course, a good spot, but second only. Claims some good series points for the Italian. Exactly what he needs. But it's all about Albert Tam and Priyan Bruno in this. That title fight going right to the end of this weekend. But less than or just over 100 points between them. Tam certainly going in the right direction, though. Here's a look at the highlights from that race. Tam at the front, flag to flag for him. Did have to work for it just that little bit, and Perico piling on that pressure, taking the win at the end. Capella looking so strong this weekend. Vicente Capella, the 8:35, pushed through in these early stages as eyes look on the live timing here. And there you can see just everyone just saying, keep going, don't look back, keep looking forward, dig deep in the Mini 60 category. It's easier said than done. Difficult to see any support coming from the sidelines when you're involved in such a close fight like this. Capella taking the lead. That pace so strong in the opening stages of that race. It wouldn't last, though, as Tam would close in, Perico as well. This was Tam going down the inside. This was Peruzzi on the fight back. Achilles Peruzzi certainly delivering. He was a little under the weather last weekend, but nice to see that he's fighting fit again, putting in those good results. Strong performance this race time around for Ava Lawrence. P5 in that race for the treble 8. Young female representing the United Arab Emirates. Certainly delivering good results. There was the change from Nicolo Perico, pushing his way through, getting into the race lead on that final lap. And again, Tam tried to fight back here. Oh, how close was it between the two? Fair play to them, though, keeping it that close across the line. But Perico would take it from Albert Tam and Peruzzi. 1, 2, 3. And that secures then Albert Tam and Nicolo Perico for that front row later on today for that final. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Peruzzi from Capella on the second row for that final. Well, one more qualifying heat to go. That is OKN Senior Qualifying Heat 2. That is due to go out in around 5 minutes' time. And again, it's all down to what Luna Flusha can do in that. Can she secure some more decent series points? She did finish P3 earlier on, but she's going to have to really dig deep in this one, because Daniel Kelleher, in his first appearance in the senior category, second overall with us in the Champions of the Future Academy program. And there you can see him with that win earlier on and Poland qualifying. A very strong performer in terms of talent out on circuit. And you can see them there. Race suits aren't even on yet. That's how much they've got time to sort themselves out. But you can imagine right here, just those last few moments of getting everything dialed in and happy. Of course, at this point, karts on the grid. Mechanics can't work on them. They can only do that in the holding bay area. As soon as they pass through the gate, that is it. They are not allowed to work on those karts. And yeah, they've were told very strictly at the start of this weekend and the beginning of every weekend. You get caught in it. It's not mechanics that get told off. Unfortunately, it is the drivers. So it is mainly the driver's responsibility there to kind of tell the mechanic to no, do not work on my kart while we're on the pre-grid. I do not want to get disqualified. There, though, is Daniel Kelleher, starting to set himself race ready for this one. We caught up with him after time qualifying. We missed it early.
Good. I'm feeling really good. Felt good to be first race in senior. Yeah, and just good track position.
Yeah. Tell us, how are you feeling ahead of the qualifying heats? It's going to be a busy weekend. There's a drivers' standings fight in between you as well. You've got them starting right behind you. Is that a little bit worrying, or are you just going to get elbows out and go racing?
I'll just try to do my own race and just hopefully do good from there.
Yeah. How are you feeling in the weather here? It's pretty hot. I think we're only just around in the 30 degrees, so it's not dramatically hot, but certainly. Is it going to make it challenging for you over the weekend?
Yeah, it's quite hot compared to races in Europe in the winter. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do. Congratulations. Well done. We'll see you on that front row.
Thank you.
Good to chat there to Daniel Kelleher, and like you're saying, his first appearance in the senior category, and well, he's only gone and put it on the pole position spot, right in the middle of that title fight, and that is going to be our biggest talking point over this weekend. As you can see there, Flusha on the live field on the right-hand side. Some of the highlights from that previous race earlier on, and Flusha fighting in third place in that one. There was there's a main title protagonist, Hugo Heron, who finished in that race P5 in the end, dropped down a couple of places after the two. Certainly exchanged positions over the course of that first race earlier on. But once again, she finds herself on the front row. P2, she's just got to try and get that run down to turn one. That's the trickiest spot here. It's a tight first corner. It's a 90-degree right-hander in towards turn one. So difficult to get track position from that outside row. There is Hugo Heron of France. And again, another really strong contender in that title fight. Needs to deliver in this one. This was some of his moments earlier on again. Shilkunas sending it down the inside. Heron did get up to second place in the early stages, but it was just a very strong performance from Daniel Kelleher, who broke away and took that win earlier on. Again, Martin Bean, race director on the gantry ahead of this one. And he's been eyes and ears all over the season for the Academy program. And obviously, main man in charge of all of these things that happens out on track. Is in constant communication with, of course, the marshals out there, any other officials. In race control as well, he's in constant communication. Multiple cameras out on circuit, around 30 of them ahead of the drivers here. As Kelleher, last few words of encouragement from his mechanic, and it is a very, very tense time for these drivers. Their last qualifying heats ahead of their finals. Of course, this is only the first day. This all gets repeated again tomorrow. A brand new qualifying tomorrow, so you're thinking this is the results throughout the entire week. It's not true. The end of the finals today, trophies get handed out, and of course, coming in to tomorrow, it is a brand new day. There, though, all the way throughout the field there, you're seeing drivers Austin Gale there, Gazi Motlaka, Francis Jeleski just there as well. Crucial to see what Gazi Motlaka can do in this one. And yeah, good results earlier on. Got up to P8. Only a position gain of 1 though. Whistle blows, engines fire up. Let's take you through that full starting lineup then. It's OKN Senior qualifying Heat 2. Coming up next, it's Daniel Kelleher and Luna Flusha on row number 1. Hugo Heron and Adam Sador on row 2. Marcus Shilkunas and Mohamed Menemni go from row number 3. Shilkunas finishing in second place earlier on. Austin Gale and Hamza Al-Fayez on row 4. Gazi Motlaka and Isaac Say on row 5. Francis Jeleski and Maximilian Rafalik round out row number 6. Jean-Paul Carras and Philippe Carras, the two French brothers, starting this one on row number 7. They'll be joined by Gianna Pascal and Alessandro Bitti on row number 8. Elizabeth Kozlova and Cole Hewitson on row number 9. Charlotte Page and Sky Parker on row 10. Sky Parker having a great race earlier on. See if she can maintain that momentum. Starting this one on the 10th row of the grid, Sophia Sanfari and Charles Lambert on row 11. Sana Matsoi and Prix Davino on row 12. Rayan Karuz and Anastasia Gerasis on row 13. Sebastian Korpeng and Yana Kapoor on row 14. Julian Pope and Louis Hartman, they round out the 30 kart field on row 15. With drivers ending their out lap onto their formation lap. As soon as they head to that red line from that point onwards, no overtaking is permitted, apart from getting themselves side by side with the driver starting alongside them. Get a reminder of those points. It's Kelleher with the 50 at the moment from Shilkunas. Flusha with 41. Gale with 38. Heron with 36. Sador with 34. Menemni with 32. And Motlaka with the 30 points. So again, these drivers looking to really shake up this order. Once again, when the group looking alongside. He's got close company of Egon Pedrotti just behind him, taking a sip of water there. We saw him out on circuit earlier on. And now watching alongside the seniors here. Getting himself all sorted out. So yellow flags waving in the background there. Getting everyone nice and slow. Field's still pretty spread out here going into the final corner. I think they're a little eager at the front because they're going to want to start accelerating now, and the back's not formed up at all. Let's see if we go racing. We are going racing. Lights are out. One looking just that little bit stronger in this stage of the race. Gale, you can see him there pushing his way through. He's there holding on to track position in P5 at the moment. The rest of them going through. Gazi Motlaka as well, also going through. He's had a good start to his race, holding on to his track position. Through 9 and 10 they go. You can see how cambered the corners are there, how much speed they can carry. And it's a beautiful close-up shot there as they make their way through turns 10 and 12. Here though, Heron's under pressure, and it's under pressure from the man who finished in second place earlier on, Marcus Shilkunas, sending it down the inside, gets that position gained. So it's Kelleher who leads from Shilkunas, Heron from Flusha, Gale from Motlaka, up into P6. Mohamed Menemni is there in P7. Zajeleski, Karas, Jean Karas at 4 place into P9. Adam Sador currently in P10. Nice train here, but Daniel Kelleher in the lead. This time Shilkunas has closed in much faster, but as that pace from earlier on going to be able to be maintained in this one, well, he's already set the fastest lap of the race, 57.559. Can we expect that time to come down even more from Kelleher? He's looking for maximum points here, and well, that just plays it into the hands of, well, these two right here, Heron and Flusha, who are going wheel to wheel here. These are your title contenders. Flusha, the leader of it, looking to the inside, not close enough, and now Gale's going to try and have a go on the outside, but again, the track just too tight in that final sector, not able to gain the position. But one more lap, Hugo Heron maintains third place. But Luna Flusha continues that pressure, and you can just see she takes much tighter entry lines into the corner, constantly showing her nose to the inside. But this time, just not able to do it in this early stage. It's only lap 2 now, though. She's under pressure as Gale goes down the inside. Flusha goes backwards here, and the drivers behind her saying, right, let's focus, let's push. As Motlaka and Menemni, I think, have swapped places. And it was Mohamed Menemni, the winner of Dubai, saying to Motlaka there, saying, think, let's go. And here comes more drama. And now it is going to be Mohamed Menemni pushing through and has also got past Flusha. So Flusha now, I think, has dropped down to about P6 here. Well, let's see as they cross the line. Kelleher has been caught. Shilkunas has closed in now. 1/10 of a second between the two of them. Heron from Gale, Menemni and Flusha. Confirmation into P6. Motlaka for company just behind. Now Gazi Motlaka again has been competitive this weekend in morning warm-ups and is continuing that pace here. As Izvleta Kozlova sets the fastest lap of the race, 56.6, as there is drama for one driver out of this race. Now, who could that possibly be? I think that might be Adam Sador, unfortunately, the Polish driver in the 215. is a lap down and is down 26 places, unfortunately. So Adam Sadori had a brilliant race earlier on. Driver who started on the second row of the grid and finished P6 in the first race, now finds himself broken at the side of the circuit. There is his wagon. And, well, looking at that, a lot of debris on the tyres. Doesn't look like a lot of damage, though possibly mechanical in nature. Kelleher still controls this race right now as Flusha has just set the fastest lap of the race. Luna Flusha, once again, is piling up the pressure and is on the charge here. But Flusha needs to also get this track position. Yes, okay, fastest driver out there, but you've got to get past. You've got to earn these points. Flusha right now would drop to 5th in the intermediate classification. That would drop her down on points. There you can see she's using all the track a little bit more there. From the rest, trying to carry just that little bit more speed through the corner. And right now, Menemne just delivering this one. Very strong competitor here at the Alphasan circuit, but is going to leave the door open to an advantage there, and Flusha gets through. Back into P5 for Luna Flusha. And all those positions, they help massively, because she's just gone from 5th back to 3rd in the points. She's joint on points with Hugo Heron now. 77 points apiece, but Hugo Heron needs to get in front. He needs to try and gain more points, not lose more points in this stage. They've only got 4 more point scoring opportunities. And this race here will decide the first out of 4 of them. Kelleher still controls this race. Shilkunas on that rear bumper has maintained the pace. Has not managed to find a way through just yet. Could be a case of just buying his time, waiting for position. Marcus Shilkunas here in 2nd place would put him on the front row for that final later on today. With 88 points to his name. And right now Shilkunas still in a very strong spot here. Still Kelleher from Shilkunas. Head on in 3rd from Gale. Flusha from Menemne. Motlaka from Stjeleski. Jean Caras now up into P9. Rafalik into the top 10. Flusha here. Like I say, she's back to 3rd in the points, still 5th on track. She's not out of the woods yet. Any position down from this would put her on the back foot. But there you can see she's broken away from Mohamed Menemne now. Oh, he's focusing on this one here as well. Daniel Kelleher, not sure if he's waiting to the very end of this race or the halfway point to try and break away, because we're lap 7 now of 12. And that gap's opened up quite considerably now between the two of them. We'll double check it when they next cross the line, as Gazi Motlaka himself is under pressure from Stjeleski. There you can see him closing in. John Caras just behind as well. Caras brothers having a tricky one out in a lane. Same as Gazi Motlaka, got caught out with the penalties in the Alain circuit, but he's put that behind him now. He's fully focused on this weekend. Battle for 7th place, still very strong. Motlaka from Stjeleski. Jean Caras in 9th place. Right there, great data from the teams here. Great work from the media crew in the background to bring you these graphics so you can see them at home as well. On lap 8 and 12, Motlaka looking comfortable there at the front. Another change of helmet for him. And usually runs with a minion on his helmet. That helmet is gone. I'm just looking at the design of this one. It kind of looks like a certain Marvel character he's got on his helmet, but he's a big comic fan, this Gazi Motlaka. I'd say always has a dashing helmet design. See what he can do there at the front of this train. Still Stjeleski behind. Caras with Falik. Philippe Caras has got back to 11th place. Biggie is there in 12th. Hamza Al-Fayez 13th from Elizaveta Kozlova. Yana Pascal currently P15. Flusha though, setting the fastest lap of the race. Once more, 55.489. Her pace is there. And she said struggling a little bit with the pace, but she looked quick in morning warm-up. But unfortunately, that qualifying fully go her way. And we do say at these points, it's probably better to qualify in an odd number, 1st, 3rd or 5th, purely because you get that inside line into turn 1. And especially at the Alphasan circuit with such a tight first corner, makes it so difficult to get that run into that one. We saw that right at the start, unfortunately, with Flusha dropping direct to P4. Eyes on this one. No. Kelleher, Shilkunas and Heron. Still 1, 2, 3. Gaps condensing just a little bit here. Stats of Hugo Heron in this race. No positions gained or lost. Started third, currently third, and just watching how light the karts get over the crest at the exit of turn 2 there. They do lose a little bit of steering input as they try and retake control of the karts of the corner. There's Flusha's stat. She's closing in on Heron and Gale once more, but not close enough for the attack here right now. She started this one in P2. Like I say, that outside line didn't go her way, dropping 3 places. But she's certainly fighting back in this one. Austin Gale's had a brilliant drive in this. Started P7, currently P4. Delivering some strong results right now, but Flusha's pace has been looking pretty quick in this second half. Still a very quick lap earlier on. Fractionally slower though from Austin Gale, and I'm talking thousandths of a second off. So very, very quick. There you can see the points again. Now that is missing Shilkunas, who is second in the points in that table with 88 points. Flusha third, Heron fourth. Gale's dropped down to P5 in this position in the points, so a position gain would help him out. He only sits 1 point behind Flusha and Heron. Putting right up at the sharp end here. If Flusha can get past, she would definitely be clear of Hugo Heron right now because she out-qualified him. It keeps her in that lead, despite the fact that they are joint on points. Final lap board then is out to the field. And Daniel Kelleher, well, once again, we've not had to say much about him. It's the downside of being so quick. Leading the way and clear now by 9/10 of a second from Marcus Shilkunas, and I suspect Shilkunas once more is just hanging back and trying to save what he can of those tyres for that final later on. They get 1 set per day. That's it. That's the only allocation they get. And they have to do qualifying heats and the finals with that. As, oh dear, right at the end of the race, there, out, I believe, was one of our drivers. Was that Sajeleski? I think it might have been. Well, let's find out, because the checker flag's gone out, and Daniel Kelleher, maximum points, starts on pole for the final later on today. Kelleher finishing that one superbly. Shilkunas in second, matching the result from earlier on, but this time he will start alongside Daniel Kelleher, and those two will go wheel to wheel in that final. Heron from Gale, Flusha in P5 from Anemni, Ghazi Motlika in P7 from Philippe Karras, Maximilian Rafalik from Hamza Av-Fayez. Now let's see what happens here in the replay. Oh my goodness me. That was big air time, and that was our drivers fighting at the front. Now that was Jean Karras, I believe. And I think he just got caught up there with Sajeleski. And my, oh my, that's a big one. And that's turn number 2. That's quite easily done there because, of course, the karts go up. The front goes light, which means, yes, if you clip another kart, it goes really light, and then it can just go upwards. And it's exactly what we've just seen there. Well, there's a look at the full results on your screen. The top 15 there. Sky Parker rounding that out after gaining 5 places from Charlotte Page. 3 places gained to finish in P16. Charlotte Bear, 5 places gained to finish in P17. Sebastian Corpeng, 9 places gained to finish P18 from Sofia Sanfaris, 2 places gained in P19. And Salamat Soris, 3 places gained to finish P20. Cole Hewitson, Isaac Say, Briggs Trevino, Ryan Caruz, Louis Hartman, Yana Kapoor, Julian Pope, Anastasia Gelisis, Francis Sajeleski, as we saw there, and Alex Sador, both retirements at the end of that race. Not a good race there for Team Poland in this one. There, your race winner, Daniel Kelleher. Here's how it all unfolded. Flusha on that front row, didn't get the run. Just didn't get on the power in the early stage. Got swamped a little bit by that inside row. Dropped her back. Released the likes of Kelleher at the front. who was under no competition at the beginning of that one. There was no challenge for the lead from Hugo Heron. He will later drop back to third place. Gilles Kunis in the opening lap, getting up to P2, would slowly charge up to the back of Daniel Kelleher, but no fight would happen between those two. The action was all around here. Gale down the inside, Austin Gale from Thailand, getting that move done on Flusha. Moving past Flusha would then suffer the likes of Hamza Al-Fayez a little bit later on. Mohamed Menemni going through. There, unfortunately, is the retirement for Adam Sador, the 215 out of the race. And there as well, Flusha did fight back though. Got back past Mohamed Menemni into P5. That put her back to third in the points. Really strong spot there. This was that moment where we lost the Jeleski. My goodness me. Just over the crest there. And that's a very scary one, but thankfully I believe both drivers okay. Checker flag out. Daniel Kelleher taking 2 wins out of 2 then. Maximum points. He starts that final on P1, but this is his first outing in the seniors. So that means he's in no championship fight at all. He's a wild card in the middle of a title fight. Well, those finals will be coming up in an hour's time, 3 o'clock, starting with the OKN Junior Mini 60 and then OKN Senior for the first day of racing here for the Champions of the Future Academy program. It's round 6 here at the Forsan circuit. We'll see you in 1 hour's time.